Good day, Version Bola. Hail Carib-Sport. All right, let's get to it. We're going to be talking about the Carnival Kings, Dwight Yorke, and my boy Jack Warner, my favorite FIFA executive. All right. Well, before you can say what ups, we were known as the Carnival Kings and then not the Carnival Kings. I don't know if it's because the TTFA realized that, look, people really don't like this thing. Let's make a U-turn. Or perhaps it was just misinformation by the press. You notice I don't think they ever stated who their source was regarding Carnival Kings. Listen, they gave us a bunch of names to choose from. One of them is a pile of crap. Sorry. I said it in a previous video. We are the Soca Warriors. And we have been the Soca Warriors, and we will always be the Soca Warriors. It's just a beautiful name. In the olden days, we had Strike Squad. I love that name, and I was sorry that they changed it. Then we had the Dream Team back in the 90s because of the amazing array of talent. I am sorry we got away from Strike Squad, but if we had to get away from Strike Squad, Soca Warriors was acceptable. Soca, it epitomizes what we represent, and Warriors because that fighting spirit on the field. Yeah, all that sounded good. They're struggling, boy. They're reaching with this Carnival Kings thing. They don't want to play this fella, Selwyn Merrill, if I'm saying his name right. Melville, Selwyn Melville. Pardon me for the mispronunciation. I speak to him on the phone, I should know his name. They don't want to pay him for his, whatever you call it, copyright or patent or whatever, the right to use it. That being Mr. Selwyn Melville. And so because they can't come to terms with the gentleman, they're trying to come up with a new name. Nah, there are no new name. We are the Soca Warriors. Figure it out. Listen now. All they sell a bunch of merchandise during the 06 World Cup, including the Warner family. How much money all they make? Did he ever get any what do you call it? Percentages of that? Maybe take some of those profits and pass it on to him. I assume profits from me. I just guessing, hundreds of thousands of merchandise being sold, But then again, that's why you all have accounts, right? Debits and credits, and to show these things. So you can forget about the Carnival Kings. We are the Soca Warriors, and all you can do it only once you want. You cannot stop the fans from going Soca Warriors, Soca Warriors, Soca Warriors, Soca Warriors. All right, so you get my point. To my great shock, I listening to reading really. What do you call this fella? Gally Cummins talking about, Dwight Yorke, and saying that Dwight Yorke is in Dubai as our national coach. I cannot ever remember a national coach living abroad or living outside the country that he's coaching. Usually it's the other way around. You live in the country that you're coaching. Now you can see we do not have a league at current, and maybe he's abroad, he's doing his homework, he's watching videos, he's making notes, and he has a technical staff in Trinidad and Tobago. Okay. Let me make a few suggestions. Unless there is some great benefit of being in Dubai, and they don't tell us anything, we have to guess these things. And it would be nice if the FA once in a while could have a little information session, your PR officer, your communications officer. Give us an idea of what's going on with TNT football so we don't bust cuss on all you. And we understand your situation. But excuse the armchair critic for speaking. What would it have hurt if he came down to Trinidad, lived in the country in which he's supposed to be coaching? We have a open blank space where football is supposed to be while everybody else is playing football in the Caribbean. This is just me and my little ideas. We have, until recently, we have Defence Force and Central in the Caribbean Cup. In July, but this is September, more football coming in, in October. In August, September, even July, August, so August, September, we could have had these two teams and pick arrest an All-Stars team making up the other players of the PFL and have them playing games with Central and Defence Force. They could have 2 games each. That's, I believe, that's 4 games. We then could have had a Trinidad All-Stars, home-based, of course, because players are abroad. Trinidad All-Stars versus a Tobago All-Stars. We could have then had exactly what I just said there. Central and Defence Force maybe versus a national under-23 local select. This would have been about, by my math, 7 games in about 8 weeks leading up to the October matches. You would have had a cadre of players training that Dwight could look at if he ever needed alternate players. And there are some good, decent players at home who could contribute if called upon at the last minute. It would have behooved those players to be match fit, which behooves the national team. It would have behooved the clubs in the Caribbean Cup tournament to be match fit, which behooves Trinidad and Tobago football. It certainly would have been better than being in Dubai. I know Dubai is a nice line, and I love Dwight Yorke, but I can't understand that logic at all. I was in shock. I actually asked 1 or 2 people to please verify this because I want to know if I read in madness. And if anybody wants to contradict me or correct me, please feel free, because I want to be contradicted on this. I find that is nonsense. All right? we could have organized a bunch of matches. Anyway, that is just me. All right. Lastly, Jack Warner, Mr. Warner. It's been stated in the press that Jack Warner, according to the High Court in Trinidad, cannot be extradited to the US to answer charges of alleged corruption with FIFA and so on, and CONCACAF and all of that. Jack Warner must, by my mathematics, is hitting about his early 80s right now. It's been a long, difficult road for Jack Warner. You know, we had to have a little sympathy for this man. 1989, he sold out 2 stadiums for 1 game and made no money. You know, he was. We were told we were given the CONCACAF Center of Excellence on the East-West Corridor there from FIFA as a gift to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. That's what Warner tell us in the 90s. Only for 10 years later to tell us it's his stadium. And now, apparently, finally, belatedly, CONCACAF is going after him to try to ascertain how this happened. His family legally sold Trinidad and Tobago football merchandise during the 06 World Cup, the campaign leading up to the World Cup. And he didn't know about it, FIFA vice president, and he had no clue, poor fella. He didn't know what was going on, all right? He was on video encouraging CFU members to take some money from a certain FIFA executive who was running for the presidency. Of course, there's maybe artificial intelligence. He wouldn't do such a thing, right? FIFA gave money to him to give to the Haitians some years back when he was FIFA VP. And this was for the Haitian Relief Fund, for an earthquake they had. The Haitians say they never got all the money. We don't know what really happened to that money. So it's been a difficult time for Jack Warner. It had. You know, they had a situation. We had a son training with the national under-16 team. The coach dropped a bunch of players, including Warner's son, and thankfully somebody saved them. They dropped the coach and bring back Warner's son. So, you know, he was able to, you know, at least circumvent that difficult time in his life. So it's been a tough time for Jack Warner. So maybe he can finish his final years in peace and quiet. Maybe stay away from football. I mean, you don't want to sell out 2 stadiums and make no money. You know, you don't want to hear about your children selling FIFA merchandise illegally behind your back. You know, you live a nice, quiet, mundane existence. Like me, my life real mundane. So that's it for Trinidad and Tobago football. Dwight boy, come down, watch the local fellas in action. Put them up against the Clouds National under 23 team at Tobago team. We could get some kind of physical activity going. Everybody in the Caribbean is playing football except us. It's quite embarrassing. Last thing, and this is not super important, but a bit important. Sometimes to organize these things I'm talking about cost money. The Trinidad and Tobago government can only give so much money. I noticed the TTFA president going to Jamaica to watch us play our World Cup qualifier. Now, nothing wrong with that. He represents the TTFA. That's pretty normal, I guess. But if we hard up for money, the team already has a manager. I say keep your tail home and save a little money. You know, you do that 4 times. Lord knows how much money you save. I mean, every little bit counts, right? Unless, of course, it was your own pocket and nobody really cares. So that's it. I wish Jack Warner the best. You know, hopefully they stop harassing a nice, decent fella like you. I don't know how Trinidad and Tobago football. I don't even know when the league started. Anybody else in the Caribbean does not know when their league is starting. And that's it. Version Bola, hail Carib-Sport. God bless Trinidad and Tobago. God bless Dwight Yorke. God bless Jack Warner. God bless the Soca Warriors. And very importantly, God bless me.